Welcome to Yoga with Krysta, the place to deepen your practice and find balance in all aspects of your life. I'm Krysta French, and today's class is a 40-minute intermediate Vinyasa flow class. We'll start standing at the top of our mats, working right into our sun salutations. So stand nice and tall in your Tadasana. Maybe take a full, deep cleansing breath right here, just to get grounded. Focusing your mind, focusing the body. On your next inhale, arms reach high, press the palms. Exhale to fold in half. Inhale, start to lengthen, find your flat back. And hands down, step back to your plank pose. With control, lower to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. So heels are dropping really deep, hips are nice and high, shoulders move down the back away from the ears, and keep grounding into the fingers, the pads of the fingers and the knuckles, just to take some pressure out of the wrist. If you feel like you need to move around in your down dog, that's always an option. Nice, full, steady breath right here. And then at the bottom of your exhale, gaze comes forward. Step or float up to the front, flat back, lengthen. Exhale, we're folding. Inhale, arms reach high, palms press. Hands release all the way down to the sides. Inhale, lengthen, press the palms. Exhale to fold in half, Uttanasana. Inhale to your flat back, Ardha Uttanasana. And hands down, step or float back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. So 5 breaths right here. Staying nice and grounded. Keep pressing back through your heels. Always working to lengthen the muscles in the body. So finding space. And always just refocusing back on the breath. So steady breath, calm mind. And keep finding softness in the face. At the bottom of your exhale, gaze comes forward. Step or float up to the front, flat back. Exhale to fold. Inhale, arms reach high, press the palms. And hands come all the way down to the sides. Inhale, lengthen, reaching up. Exhale to fold in half. Inhale to find your flat back. And hands plant, step or float back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing, try to lift those thighs. Exhale, downward facing dog. 5 steady, full breaths right here. So this practice is quite heavy in sun salutations. So if you do need a break, if you need a child's pose or anything else, feel free to take it. So don't wait for me to offer child's pose. If you need to pause this video at any time and just find a little rest, feel free to do that and then come back to it when you're ready. This is your practice. From here, at the bottom of your exhale, gaze comes forward. Step or float up to the front, lengthen. Exhale to fold. Inhale, arms reach high, palms press. Hands release all the way down to the sides. Inhale, reach it up, lengthen, Padahastasana. Exhale to fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, find your flat back. And hands down, step or float back. With control, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And just come back to the breath. Think of your downward facing dog as almost a resetting pose. So how can you reset your body and your mind? Notice if your thoughts are drifting away, if they're somewhere else, and if they are, that's okay. Just start to pull them back. Staying present with your body and with your breath. And then from your downward facing dog, gaze comes forward. Step or float up to the front, flat back. Exhale to fold. Inhale, arms reach high, palms press, and hands release all the way down to the sides. So inhale, sit back right into Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, fold in half. Inhale, flat back, and hands down. Step or float back to Chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. So one breath here takes your right foot forward, stepping right up into Warrior One. Arms reach high, press the palms, look up. Exhale, hands lower, all the way to Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then again, one breath, step that left foot forward. Inhale it all the way up, reaching Warrior One. Exhale, hands come down, step back, lower to Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. So 5 full, complete, steady breaths right here. So you might notice that your heart rate is a little bit lifted right now. Just pay attention to that. See if you can slow down the breath. So matching the duration of the inhales with the duration of the exhales. So they're very even. If it helps you, you can even work on that Ujjayi breath, so that ocean sounding breath. From here, gaze comes forward. Step or float up to the front, lengthen, flat back. Exhale to fold. Inhale, sit right back, chair pose, Utkatasana. And stand nice and tall, arms release down to the sides. Inhale, sit back again, chair pose. Exhale, we're folding, Uttanasana. Inhale, flat back, lengthen. And hands plant, step or float back to Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale that right foot forward, Warrior One, Virabhadrasana One, arms lift. Exhale, hands lower, step back, Chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. One breath, step that left foot forward, arms reach high, palms press, and then hands lower to the ground, step back to Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And just come back to your breath. Notice if you can drop your heels a little bit deeper. Maybe the palms can get heavier. Spine can lengthen. Hips can get higher. From here, look forward. Step or float up to the front, lengthen. Exhale to fold. Inhale, sit back for chair pose, Utkatasana. Stand tall, and then arms release down to the side. So last time, Surya Namaskar B. Inhale, take your seat, chair pose. Exhale, we're folding in half. Inhale, find your flat back. Exhale, hands lower, step or float back to Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And this time, right foot steps forward, reach up. Make sure that back heel is really steady and grounded. Lower the hands as you exhale, step back to Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. And this time, left foot steps forward, right heel down, arms reach high, hip bones are squaring, and then lower the hands. Step back, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Come back to your breath. Notice if your thoughts have drifted away. If they have, no judgment, just bring them back. Nice, full, steady inhales, steady exhales. And then at the bottom of your exhale, gaze comes forward. Step or float up to the front to lengthen. Exhale, we're folding. Inhale, take your seat, find your chair pose, Utkatasana. Stand tall, arms release down to the heart and then down to the sides. So lengthening your spine, relax the shoulders, take a breath. And then inhale, arms reach high. Exhale, fold in half. So done with our sun salutations. Inhale, flat back. Hands down, step or float back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. So right into our flow this time. Inhale, reach your right leg high. Open your hips, stack your hips, and then just start to roll around the knee, the hip, and the ankle. Get a nice little stretch, and then step it right up into a high lunge with a twist. So we're lowering that left hand, right arm reaches high. Keep that back heel lifted as we rotate the ribs open. Then lower the right hand down just to find steadiness. Lift both arms up to find your high lunge. So soften your shoulders here. Make sure you're not dumping any weight in the lower back. So you want to pull that lower belly up and in. From here, hands meet at the heart as we shift forward onto that right foot to find warrior 3. So really steady the gaze. Find that dristi. Back leg is strong, kicking straight back through that left heel. And then we're stepping back into warrior 2. Arms reach wide, gaze drops over the right fingers. Keep pressing equally into both feet. That front knee is moving open slightly, making sure we're not collapsing in the joint. From here, drop that right hand down to the floor, or if you'd prefer to drop your forearm to the thigh, that's an option. So extended side angle with the option of a bind. If you're binding, that left hand's coming behind you, right hand slipping under the thigh. And then release what you have, arms stretch long, come back up to warrior 2, revolve your warrior. So reach that right arm all the way back, nice big side body stretch, back into warrior 2 to straighten that front leg, and then into triangle pose. So if you'd like to shorten your stance, that's a great option. And lower that right hand however low feels good. So maybe the shin, maybe the ground, but keep rotating open through your chest. I slipped a little bit, come all the way back up, and then both feet are turning to the side. From here, drop the hands down at the hips. On an inhale, lift your heart, open the chest. As you exhale, fold forward, find a flat back, and then fold again, stay folded here. So palms are flat on the floor. So elbows are bent at a 90-degree angle like you're finding those chaturanga arms. So just start to lengthen. Maybe the crown of the head touches the ground, maybe it doesn't. From here, walk your hands forward just to find a flat back, lengthen. Hands come at your hips as you stand all the way up. Right toes turn forward, hips square, find a low lunge, drop that knee, and then right into a twist. Palms come together in front of your heart. Rotate the ribs toward the right side. If you want to take it a step deeper, back toes tuck under, lift the back knee off of the ground. You might even split your arms here if that feels good. From here, we're untwisting. Arms lift all the way up toward the ceiling or the sky, wherever you are. Big breath in. And then exhale, we're coming into our dancer pose. So find your balance on that right foot as you shift, and then begin to bend the left knee, catch the foot. You can stay there with the knees together, or to go deeper, you're pressing the foot into the hand, reaching with that right arm, maybe even hinging a little bit at the hips. Find your breath. Find that dristi. Let the knees come back together. And we're stepping back, high lunge. Find a little heart opener and then lower the hands. Vinyasa is yours. So take it or skip it, or meeting in down dog. And then from here, gazing forward, step or float up to the front, back or into our Balasana actually. So feet are coming nice and wide. Palms come together in front of the heart, elbows plugged in into the inner thighs. So keep lengthening the spine, rolling the heart open. So option to stay in your yoga squat, or if you want, this is a nice chance for your crow pose, Baddhastasana. So palms are down, about shoulder width apart. We're perching those knees nice and high. Just give it a try. If it feels good, maybe stay there or come right back down into your Balasana. And then when you're ready, step or float it back. Take your Vinyasa. Let's meet in downward facing dog. Steady breath. From here, left leg lifts high, roll around the knee, the hip, and the ankle. Nice big stretch. And then step it forward into that twisted lunge. So right hand stays low as we extend the left arm high. Rotate the ribs open, keep pressing through that back heel. Heart is opening to the side. And then drop the hand down just to find some balance, and then lift your arms all the way up for a high lunge. So we're setting up here for our warrior 3. So get really strong in the legs. Find your dristi. So find something steady and unmoving. Hands come together in front of the heart. Shift into that left foot. Kick the right foot straight back. So toes are pointing down. Heel is pointing straight up. Dropping that right hip ever so slightly. And then with control, stepping back for warrior 2. Arms reach wide. So nice steady breath here. And then from our warrior 2, coming right into extended side angle. So maybe the left hand drops on the ground, maybe your forearm's coming to the thigh. If you'd like to work into that half or full bind, this is a great option for it, but keep pulling back on that right shoulder. So rotating the heart open. So you should feel this opening in the shoulders and the hips. From here, release what you have. Arms reach back up, find warrior 2. Full breath in. And then exhale, revolve your warrior. From that revolved warrior, come back, straight arms, and then straighten the front leg, finding triangle. So drop that left hand, extend the right arm nice and high. So find that little rotation in the rib cage. Gaze can come up toward the top palm if it feels okay on your neck. Full steady breaths. And then root down to rise up. Both feet turn to the side. Hands interlaced behind your back. Lift your chest open up. And then exhale, fold into it. So head is really heavy. Keep your hands interlaced as you're folding. So nice big stretch in the shoulders and the hamstrings. See if the spine can get longer. And then root down to rise all the way up. Hands release, shake out the shoulders. Left toes turn forward. Drop that right knee down if you'd like. We're finding our twisted lunge here. So hook that right elbow over the left thigh. Top palm pushes down into the bottom palm. Feel free to lift the back knee if you want more of a challenge. But keep rotating the ribs open. So straight line from the tailbone up through the crown of your head. And then untwist, come back into your high lunge. Find your steadiness. We're working right into our dancer pose, Utkatasana. So shift into that left foot, bend the right knee, catch the foot. You can stay or you can go deeper, pressing the foot into the hand. Maybe you start to reach with that left arm. Maybe you hinge a little bit. So equal amount of pressing and reaching. From here, we're stepping back to our high lunge. Maybe you take a little back bend if it feels good. And then lower your hands, step back right into your Vinyasa. So take it or leave it. Up to you. Downward facing dog is where we're meeting. Maybe you take a big cleansing breath. And then we're hopping again into our Balasana. So feet are coming to the outside of the hands. Hips are nice and deep. Palms together in front of the heart. You can stay right here, or to go deeper, we're going to take a bind. So the right hand comes low all the way over to the right side. And then that left arm lifts up. You can stay, or to take that half bind, left hand comes around the back. Full bind, right hand's coming on the outside of the leg. And we're clasping the hands behind. From here, open your arms again. Hands come together. And then reset for the left side. So take it or leave it. If you're taking it, arms are opening and then clasping behind the back. If you're in that bind, pull the right shoulder back a little bit more. So keep that rotation going. Arms open wide again, palms at the heart. Open the chest, big breath in. Lower the hands as you exhale. And then just find a nice, easy forward fold. You can take opposite elbows if that feels good. Just sway side to side. You might even bend your knees. And then from here, make sure the feet are roughly 2 fists width apart. You can just measure that out. And then slide the hands under your feet for Padahastasana. So our hands to foot pose. So dropping the head really deep. Shoulders move away from the ears, elbows wide. So getting a little bit of counter pressure on those wrists for all those chaturangas. From here, lengthen as you find your inhale, release the hands. And then sit back right into chair pose, Utkatasana. Get nice and heavy in the hips. Stand all the way up. Inhale, the arms lift. Exhale, we're folding in half. Inhale to your flat back. And hands down, step or float back to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a big cleansing breath. And then when you're ready, find child's pose, Balasana. And maybe it feels good to roll your forehead back and forth. You might separate the knees nice and wide or take them together. Just take a little break here. Full steady inhales and exhales. When you're ready to keep moving, we're going to press back into down dog. Shift forward into our plank pose. So keep the core strong. Drop down onto your forearms. And then pike your hips up nice and high. So we're in a dolphin pose. Walk your feet a little bit closer towards you. We're heading into dolphin push-ups. So as you're seeing here, I'm going to move my nose all the way in front of my hands and then press back. All right, so do as many as it feels good. If you're doing them with me, I did 10. But you can do 1, you can do 3, you can do 15, whatever feels good. These are not easy, so just because I'm doing them quickly does not mean that it didn't take a lot of work. So keep breathing. Whenever you're done, we're going to meet back into child's pose. Balasana. Just resting. And if you want to keep working on those, you can always just pause the video and keep going. So they're a great prep for any kind of inversion. So we're going to meet back in downward facing dog. Shift forward into plank. Holding that plank. Just breathing. Push the floor away. Nice long spine. And then with control, we're going to slowly lower all the way to the belly. When you get there, the hands can come under the forehead. You can shake the hips out side to side. Just let yourself get heavy here. And then the arms are going to come down by the hips, setting up for Locust Pose. So begin to flip your palms face up, roll your chest open, zip the feet together, and lift the whole body off the ground. So the heart is reaching forward, the hands are reaching back, the feet are reaching back. Breathe here. Steady breath. Keep opening the chest, and then slowly lower down. Release what you have. Maybe it feels good to bend the knees, swish the feet left and right. And then second round, you can flip the palms if you'd like so the palms are facing the floor, or flip them face up. Either way, open your chest, reach back, reach the toes back. So really starting to engage here. Good. Steady inhales, steady exhales, and then slowly lower. Release the cheek to the opposite side. Again, you can bend the knees and swish the feet if it feels good. So this time we're going to find Dhanurasana. So that's our bow pulling pose. So bend your knees, catch the tops of your feet, take your knees toward each other so they're not splayed apart. Then begin to press firmly the feet into the hands, open your chest, and then if it feels good, you can start to lift the thighs off of the ground. Breathe here, steady breath. Maybe you rock a little bit with your breath, and then slowly lower back down. Swish the feet left and right. Release the legs. And then when you're ready, we're pressing back, Balasana, Child's Pose. From here, come up onto your shins. We're setting up for our Camel Pose. So we'll take 3 rounds of our Camel. So going back any amount. So it doesn't matter if you're only lifting your heart and rolling back an inch or 2. As long as you're feeling a stretch, that's what matters. So our first round of Camel, palms at the back. Lift your heart, roll your chest open. Steady breath. Keep pushing your hip bones forward. And then with control, come back up. So take your time. If that was deep enough, just do that again. To go deeper, maybe your hands release this time. So press your hips forward, lift the heart, roll your chest open, breathing here for another 3, 2, and 1. Slowly come back up. And then maybe you go deeper by untucking the toes and placing the whole hand on the foot. So up to you. Start by lifting the chest, pressing the hip bones forward, and then slowly tipping it on back, any amount. Keep breathing. Keep pressing the hip bones forward, lifting the heart. And then slowly, with control, we're coming back up. Take a seat back onto your heels. Palms come at your thighs. Close your eyes for a moment. Just let everything settle. Find a child's pose. So I like to take the hands down by the heels after a camel pose, but do what feels best in your body. From here, hands walk forward, press back, downward facing dog. And then from our down dog, we're just going to sit down onto our butts. So you can do this a few ways. You can just drop the knees, spin the legs around. If you have a jump through in your practice, that's a great option. For me, I don't have a full jump through, but I'm going to look forward and then I'm going to hop those feet as far forward as I can. Yeah, so I don't actually clear the ground, but I'm still trying. So keep that left leg long. We're heading into Janu Sirsasana. Right foot comes in. Arms reach, and then we're folding over the leg. Steady breath in, steady breath out. And then inhale, lifting up, opening the chest, just switching legs. So nothing too fancy. Right leg extends, left foot comes in, arms high. And then fold over. Maybe taking the bind around the foot if it's in your practice. Keep breathing. And then releasing what you have. Lift your chest back up. Extend both legs, give them a shake. And then we're heading right into our bound angle, Baddha Konasana, feet together. Thumbs can come at the balls of the feet to open them. And then reach your heart forward, fold into it. So nice steady breath here. Keep reaching the heart open, maybe even pressing the elbows into the inner thighs to get a little bit deeper in the hips. From here, lift up. Take the knees together. We're going to find boat pose, Navasana. So sitting nice and tall, begin to lift the legs any amount. So maybe the legs are straight, maybe they're bent, arms are straight, chest is open, collarbones are lifting. So keep that steadiness in the breath. So nice full inhales and exhales. Good. Just breathing. And then slowly, with control, we're lowering all the way down onto the back. When you get there, rest for a moment. Pull the knees in, give them a hug, rock a little bit side to side. And then heading right into our plow pose. So feet come behind the head. Legs are nice and long. Good. Make sure that the weight here is not on your neck. So it's on the shoulders and the upper arms. And if the feet do not touch the ground behind you, make sure that you support the lower back with your hands. From here, coming right up into our shoulder stand. So hands are moving up the back. And then we're lifting those legs nice and high. So trying to aim for a straight line from the toes, the knees, the hips, all the way through the shoulders. And then coming back into our plow pose. From our plow, use those hands as brakes to slowly lower down, just rolling down. And then into our fish pose, hands come underneath the glutes, palms facing down. Lift the heart, roll your chest open, tip your gaze on back. Let the crown of the head either hover or actually touch the ground. Legs are really long and strong. And then draw the chin in, lower down. Hug the knees into the chest, rock side to side. Feet are going to plant firmly down onto the floor. We're going to find a pigeon pose on our backs. So that right foot crosses over the left knee. Flex your feet and then draw both hands under the left thigh as you pull in. So we're getting a nice stretch through the IT band, through the hip and the glute on the right side. Nice, full, steady breath. And then from here, you're going to slip the right knee over the left and then just allow both of your knees to fall over to the left side. So finding a nice twisted spinal twist. And gazing over to the right side, keep that spine nice and long. And then untwist. Draw your knees back into your chest, place the feet down onto the floor, and then this time left foot crosses over the right knee, hands come under the right thigh as you pull it in towards your body. So again, nice deep stretch through the IT band, getting into the glutes and the hip. Full steady breath. And just finding some release here. And then slip that left knee over the right knee and we're crossing over toward the right side. So knees drop heavily to the right, gaze and arm falls to the left. You can even keep that right hand on top of the knee to press it down a little bit more if that feels good. And just reconnect with your breath. And draw your knees back into your chest. Give them a nice big hug. Feel free to take a happy baby here. So the hands come around your feet. I'm just pressing them out to the sides. And then slowly, you can just windshield wiper the knees left and right, releasing any tension in the hips. And then extend the legs, extend your arms. Coming right down into Shavasana. And today's poem comes to us from Mary Oliver and is titled The Waterfall. For all the said, I could not see the waterfall until I came and saw the water falling, its lace legs and its womanly arms sheeting down, while something howled like thunder over the rocks, all day and all night, unspooling, like ribbons made of snow or God's white hair. At any distance, it fell without a break or seam, and slowly, a simple preponderance, a fall of flowers, and truly it seemed surprised by the unexpected kindness of the air, and light-hearted to be flying at last. Gravity is a fact everybody knows about. It is always underfoot, like a summons, gravel-backed and mossy in every beetled basin and imagination. That striver, that third eye, can do a lot, but hardly everything. The white scrolled wings of the tumbling water, I never could have imagined. And maybe there will be, after all, some slack and perfectly balanced blind and rough peace, finally, in the deep and green and utterly motionless pools after all that falling. So from here, begin to send a little bit of life and movement back into the fingers and toes. Just waking yourself up. You can take a big stretch, roll off to your side, cradling the knees into your chest. And then eventually, just pressing yourself up, find a comfortable, easy seat. Lengthening the spine. Palms can come together in front of your heart, palms pressing. Just take a moment to thank yourself for choosing to show up, for choosing to practice. And thank you all so much for sharing your own practice with me. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.